7, 6. Detector out.
I had arrived in downtown Bushnell a little bit before 11 a.m., and on my way into town, since I wanted to take pictures of an old siren in Center Hill, I'd already missed the train. M452 passed through downtown Bushnell about 5 minutes before I got there, and as I was entering town, I heard the defect detector just north of here go off, which confirmed my fears. He was about almost 500 axles today, which is pretty big. What I didn't know, though, was that he'd be working Wildwood and would be blocking the main line for a good 30 minutes. He was also holding up M457 in the process, who had a MAC leader today. But eventually, after about 30 or 40 minutes of waiting and getting confirmation from other rail fans who were up in that area, M457 was rolling and would eventually go through downtown Bushnell. My original plan for today was to start in Wildwood near Moreland Park, then record him south of the Wildwood Yard, and then Bushnell and Dade City. But since I already went to Wildwood a few days before, I decided to start in Bushnell instead, since I actually haven't seen a train here before. I attempted going to Bushnell about a month or so ago, right before Hurricane Helene, but of course, since I had some daytime curfews, nothing went through here. The only train I actually saw that day was L743 working Wildwood. As the headlight and dish lights of 4546 approach, here's M457, the daily manifest train from Waycross to Taft, just outside Orlando. After 4:57 passed, I went back in the truck and waited for the next train. I was monitoring a Broadcastify stream that goes over most of the Wildwood sub, which is where I was able to pick up this conversation with the JA dispatcher at M453.
M453 and 4. Actually, a 66, I guess that would be the 668, correct there? Yeah, 678.6. 678.6. M453 and 4 with the C60 3176 JW Wall, circle 5A and a 10. 5A, do not exceed the following speed, 50, or excuse me, 10, excuse me, do not exceed the following speed, 10, 10 mph on main track. Between S690.6, S690.7, no signs. Line 10, dispatcher messages, 13641 and 13643 are both enrolled. My initials MLH.
There is apparently a slow order near Waldo, about an hour and a half north of where I was, so most of the trains that day were contacting the JA to make sure they had authority to move through that .1 or .2 mile section of the S line, which was pretty helpful for knowing if a southbound was coming. Almost an hour later, I caught him crossing the defect detector up near Hawthorne.
CSX Equipment Defect Detector, milepost 700.1. No defects. No defects. Total axle 484. End of transmission.
Almost 3 hours later, M453 would finally show up. I set up on the west side of the tracks right off of US 301, since it was the lighter side. I apologize for the lack of good stabilization in this clip. I try to add stabilization whenever I can, but for this clip and for some of the others, it added this really weird warping effect that I couldn't get rid of. So unfortunately, there's going to be some lack of stabilization for a good amount of these clips, but I'm hoping to get a better camera with better stabilization in the future, and actually start recording with a new tripod that should help, which you'll see in future videos to come. After M453, I made my way south to Dade City, where I'd be for another few hours. What I didn't expect was to see M453 again while going south on US 301. I expected him to be way further ahead and going a lot faster than he was, but what I didn't know was that he'd be meeting M604 near Richland at the double track there. I was going south and saw a green signal and, of course, missed M604. If I had stayed there just a few more minutes, I would have probably seen him, but oh well. Here's M453 anyways. Well, at least his auto racks. Also, I rarely ever do this while driving, and this was one of the only chances I could have of actually pacing a train, so I wouldn't recommend it, and it really wasn't safe, but this was the only time I'd ever do something like this while driving. So yeah, here's M453's auto racks. At around 4:30 p.m., I made it to the Dade City Heritage Museum, after navigating through some detours and some pretty heavy downtown traffic. I didn't end up seeing M453 until almost 6 p.m., which actually surprised me because I thought they were going to hold him at Richland for a lot longer. One of the main reasons I went to the Dade City Museum, especially going into the evening and nighttime, was because of the LED lights that they used to have where the train platform is. But I learned from some people in the Facebook group I'm in that they were removed a bit ago because of kids throwing rocks at the tracks, which kind of sucked for the nighttime part, but I made it work with my truck headlights. Anyways, here's M453 crossing the Dade City defect detector and eventually passing me here at the Dade City Heritage Museum.
CSX detector, milepost 825.9. No defects. Repeat, no defects. Total axles 484. Detector out.
30 minutes after M453, and it already looks like it's 8 or 9 p.m. But I guess that's how Eastern Standard Time works, and it kinda sucks for nighttime trains. But surprisingly, after barely waiting, here's IO44 with an EMD SD70 Mac that was flared and had a very loud horn, which I learned standing next to a whistle post for that direction he was coming from. Very loud. After IO44 would be M603, the southbound counterpart to the M604 we missed earlier. This is a daily train, and usually goes through here around the evening time. It would be a lot brighter if it wasn't standard time, but gonna have to deal with this for another few months. He had a really nice horn on that Rayboat CM44 in the 7400s, which I haven't personally seen until now. The last train of the day would be IO 45, the southbound counterpart to IO 44 that we saw earlier. They exchanged crews in Wildwood, and I expected them to be down here eventually, but it ended up almost being 10 p.m. when he rode through. I wasn't expecting to wait that long, but since I like intermodal trains, it had an ES40 liter, and it was a train I haven't seen yet, IO 45, I decided to wait it out. So after almost 2 hours of waiting and hearing him call signals wherever, he finally showed up. As IO 45 slid into the darkness towards Tampa, I made my way back home. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you stay tuned for what I have to show y'all in the future, because I got a lot of projects to work on that'll be out soon. So, have a great day, see y'all soon.